And the traditional American dessert is apple pie. And no wonder, there's many different ways to serve it. You can serve it hot, cold, with ice cream, without ice cream, and with many different types of garnishes. Today, but you need to start with a basic apple pie. Today I'll show you how to make apple pie. But first I'm going to go wash my hands, and then I'll come back and we can start making the crust. I measured all my ingredients, and now I'm ready to start making the crust. You need 1 cup of flour and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and they go into the bowl and you mix them around a bit. Next, you cut in 1/3 cup and plus 1 tablespoon of Crisco or vegetable shortening, and then you take your pastry blender and cut it in. I'll show you what it looks like after you're done cutting it in. And this is what it looks like when it's done being cut in. There should be little balls, like it says peas. And now I'm going to add some water, and you add between 2 and 3 tablespoons of water, and you add them one at a time, and just enough so the flour, so all the little particles stick together. When you start rolling, you want to have some flour on your rolling sheet, and you want some flour on your rolling pin. And then you take your ball of dough, and you have flour on both sides of that, and then you're going to start rolling it. You want to roll out in opposite directions to keep it round. Crust so it's big enough to fit in the pan. I will now attempt to put the pie crust in the pan, although if it breaks, I'm gonna start again. You want to keep your hands wide apart, and it looks like it's gonna work. And you fold it in half. This is very difficult to do. I think I'm going to come back after I put this in the pan. I finally got the pie crust in the pan. I did that by folding it in half and then folding it in quarters and placing the pie pan and unfolding it. Now I'm going to cut off the excess edges, but not too much. And then we're going to crimp the edges to make them look decorative. I'm going to do that by taking my fingers and pinching the dough in parts around the entire circumference of the pie. You don't want to cut off too much of the excess. Okay, and now I'm going to start crimping the pie. You just put it up and squeeze, and you do that around the whole pie, leaving little spaces. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees. I'm cutting 7 apples. I've done 4, and I'll show you the last 3. We're using Granny Smith apples because they're baking apples, and baking apples are the best to use when baking because they'll make better pies. I'm using a Pampered Chef apple peeler slicer corer, and these are great because they make the apple slices all even and are very little work to use. You want to take off all the peel and then cut the apples in half and then put them in your bowl. After you're done with the apples, we're going to mix in some flour, sugar, and cinnamon. And why don't I come back after I finish the last 2 apples? 7 apples. I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 cup of flour to thicken. I'm going to stir this up very well, and then you're going to spread it out into the pie pan. After I'm done putting in the pie pan, we're going to prepare for the topping. We're making a crumb topping, and that's like for French apple pie. And now I'm going to put my filling into the pie pan. You spread it out evenly in the pie pan, and that's about all you can say about that. We'll come back after we're done with getting the ingredients right for the top. You'll need 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and then you're going to mix those up a little bit together, and then you're going to cut in a 1/2 cup of butter. Again, use the same method you used to cut in as you did with the crust, and this time butter instead of shortening. And butter. Start cutting in. It's nice. It's cold and not like runny or melting at all. That's going to make it difficult to cut in. There's also another way you can make a top. You can make a second crust and cover it and then cut holes in it. But this one is much easier to do, and therefore that's why I chose to do this recipe instead. It's all crumbly now, and I'm going to spread it over the top of the pie, and then we're going to put it in the oven. I will not show you putting in the oven because the kitchen is a bit too crowded, but we're going to put it in at 400 degrees for 45 to 55 minutes, and you're going to cover it with tin foil for the last 15 minutes to keep it from getting too brown. And it's about an hour later now, and my pie is out of the oven. Here it is finished. It looks very nice. Today I've shown you how to make an apple pie. No matter which way you serve it, it'll still be apple pie, and now I hope you can make one yourself.